So today I might make some medical professionals mad. But I don't care because if you're in pain, you really don't care who's mad at you. You don't really care if people are upset with you. You just care about whether or not you can make it through the moment. Sometimes half a moment, sometimes a quarter of a moment. Sometimes you break it down in a nanoseconds. But the reason I'm going to get people they might get mad is not because I'm going to give you any fluff or any lies or make up stuff. It's because I'm going to tell you, get a second opinion, a third opinion, and always, 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 always do your studying. In other words, don't accept when someone says, well, these are your only options. Look it up. If whatever pain you're dealing with, say you're dealing with neck pain, someone says these are your only options, get on the internet. I mean, we got God, then we have Google. Between them, I think they know everything. And look up, hey, new treatments or experimental treatments or whatever treatments for whatever pain you're going through. And then after you get a list of them, then you look for credible sources. In other words, don't go to Wikipedia. Don't go to your friend's YouTube unless your friend is a skilled professional who knows what they're talking about. And go to professional sites. Go to sites like literally look up a doctor site. Like if someone says, hey, it's this new treatment for neck pain. Look up companies who specialize in treating neck pain. See if it's ever mentioned. Ever. And what you do is you look and then you start looking through these things and you might find something that works for you. And I'm going to give you an example. True story, very true story. When I was working on my looking for a doctoral internship, I interviewed for a company and they talked about neurofeedback. Now, I didn't know much about neurofeedback whatsoever. Had no idea really how it played into, the psychological profession. I'd heard of neurofeedback as far as dealing with autism, as far as, they had programs that you would fly a plane or do something and it would work on the parts of the brain that were less functioning or more impaired in people with autism. And I'm like, wow, I didn't know anything about like psychological treatments and then, or how it dealt with it. But we were dealing with ADHD, and ADHD is a neurodevelopmental disorder. It's not a psychological disorder. And I have ADHD. And at one point, I was on the highest dose of meds that you could give an adult. And my psychiatrist said, if they could, they would have given me more. That's how off I was. And so, in talking to the head of the company, he mentioned how he was in a car accident and he was beat up and couldn't move and on all these pain medicines. And someone told him about neurofeedback. And he actually used neurofeedback to get off pain medicine, and where he could barely walk a couple steps, got to the point where he could walk across the room. And then it got to a point where he could walk. And through neurofeedback, no surgeries, no medications, just neurofeedback. And so what I'm saying is there are proven methods of treating things that we deal with daily that we just don't know about. And we don't know about it because, it might be a specialty treatment or it's considered an experimental treatment. For whatever reason, insurance will not pay for it without getting a referral. And then the person that you're dealing with as your primary doesn't know about it, so they won't refer you. Start pushing the envelope. Because like I said, if you're in pain, you really don't care about what people think about your behaviors if those behaviors are moving toward relieving your pain and you think there's some reasonable success at the end of it. And so literally after that, I started doing my pre-doc hours there, and I actually treated myself using neurofeedback, and I got off meds. And I mean, I got off meds and I'm not going back. And so what I'm saying is there are treatments that are out there, some that are proven, but based on the way the medical system is set up, they might be experimental or you can't treat. And so you have to find people who will either refer you to them, someone who knows about them, who will refer you to them. Like in the first instance I'm talking about, just find a benevolent, provider who you can bring this information to, and they're like, okay, we'll see, just go. Or someone who knows about it, preferably, who can refer you or know someone who can refer you to. Because literally, if I hadn't interviewed this company, I would have never known about it. And what we did is, because the neurofeedback is experimental, and so that can't be the main thing. We did psychological interventions and treatments for ADHD, and then we complemented it with neurofeedback and had great success without meds. And we're not talking about years getting things. We're talking about, depending on the frequency, we're talking about 4 to 6 months. And so what I'm saying is there might be a methodology to treat the pain you're dealing with that you don't know about because it's a specialty treatment, or it might be considered experimental depending on, or just the medical professionals you're going to don't know about it. Sometimes you have to educate the medical professionals. And let me explain what I mean by that. I don't mean come in there diagnosing yourself, because I'm telling you, to someone who has a whole bunch of student loans and you work to get these degrees, and then people come in who read the internet or read the DSM-5 or read a medical book, and after looking at it for 20 minutes comes to tell you why what you are diagnosing them with, or what you think might be the problem, isn't the problem. It's annoying. But you can say, listen, are you familiar with this? I read about this. I heard this was effective in treating this, or this could be an answer. Could you tell me more about it? And if you don't know more about it, can you refer me to somebody just so I can see if it works, or I can see what's going on? Do that, but don't come in there and say, well, I got this and you don't know about this and this, because that's just, one, it's going to piss them off. And then two, it's not going to be very helpful in getting them to refer you, especially if you need a referral to get to wherever you're trying to go. With that said, remember this: everything that's available to you might not be known by you or by the medical professional that you're dealing with. Because most people who I talk to in the field are not familiar with neurofeedback treating ADHD. They literally limit it to meds and then psychological interventions. And so you can educate your provider by providing them information about treatments that they might not know. And you can ask them for their opinion. And as long as the treatment is legit, in other words, I'm not saying go to the dude in the back of the alley, who got a room in a closet, and he has some stuff that he gonna hook you up to and pray for the best. I'm talking about something that has been tried and true longitudinally, that, hey, this, we've been working and this has been doing it, and it's been done by licensed medical professionals, or even if not licensed medical professionals, somebody in Eastern medicine or homeopathic medicine that might not be looked on well by Western medicine, but that they look at and say, okay, well, it has been proven, or it has a record of being a legit science. So for instance, a lot of doctors will prescribe medicines for pain, and then some will sign a referral and let you go to acupuncture or acupressure. And so, though in Western medicine, I don't know a lot of any doctors that I've ever talked to who are required to learn acupressure or acupuncture. They still will refer you to a practitioner if that's what you ask. So use these things to your advantage. Look for valid, experimental, or valid non-mainstream treatments that may help you through your pain, because you might just find something that can help you get over what you're dealing with. So let's get on it.